Good evening, everyone. How are we? Hope you're all well there. Got a special guest on tonight, guys. And I only just remembered what her last name was before because she's in my phone as Jean Shady Gear, and she's just told me, fuck you diddly donk, my last name is Phillips. So, Jean Phillips, welcome to the live feed tonight, Jean. And
thanks,
welcome to everyone out there that's watching at the moment. So, hope you enjoy the night, everyone. It won't be going for too long, but Jan, we've been going to have this chat for ages and ages, but you've been so busy and everything. We finally chose a night and we thought we'll do it midweek and have a quick chat. And the whole idea about this, Jan, is just there's going to be a slideshow soon, everyone, and it's to give you an idea and some options for not only camping around the house and all that type of stuff. We've got over 50 photos to go through, and I'm sure you'll get some really good ideas once you see the slideshow tonight. Some of you out there may not have had a chance to go to the shows, the camping shows and that, and catch up with Jan and see some of the gear all set up and that. So anyway, you'll get an idea tonight about what it looks like. But Jan, welcome again, and I'm glad we finally got to do this tonight. How about tell us a bit about Jan Phillips, where you're born, where you were brought up, and before the Shady Gear thing, just a quick bloody 2-minute spiel on.
Yeah. So, well, I was born in Victoria and Victoria. And my father was a scientist, so we travelled a bit. We spent some time in Woomera, Tasmania, and back to Melbourne again. I've travelled around a bit as a young child and we did a lot of wild things. We went to the salt lakes and we owned lizards and did all sorts of really outbacky type things. We camped in the old green lid tent with the white walls, which was put together with the old wooden poles. Yeah. Absolute nightmare, and we got flooded on millions of occasions. So I grew up in a family that were very out there doing things, camping and travelling. Yeah. And then we moved to Tassie. When I left school, I went into the travel industry because I really enjoyed travelling around, and eventually ended up as a flight attendant. So 35 years later, I resigned. But it's funny because I started with East West Airlines, which some of you may not even know. Yeah. It was called East West Makes the Good Times Possible. And it was the funniest airline. We had some amazing things go on, planes where you'd land the little F-27 down at the airport strip in Albury, and they'd let too many people off down the back quickly and they'd taken the luggage off the front, so the whole plane tipped up. So literally you had the bottom end of the plane down on the ground, and you could see the stairs slowly rising, and you knew that, oh my God, everyone's got to run back to the front. So a lot of funny adventures with that airline, wild and woolly, but the best airline ever. And then Ansett, so nearly 15 or so years with Ansett, and that was probably the most enjoyable part of my airline career. And we travelled all over and ended up in Qantas after Ansett fell over. It was a bit of a hard time for a while, and then ended up in Qantas, travelled a bit, and then it wasn't the same feel as Ansett. So I started looking to do other things, and I did a bit of moonlighting. I did some chartered flying and things like that. Took In Excess to Canberra a few times, and I had some really good adventures. And just on a little Learjet, serving champagne on takeoff and landing, which is not necessarily, I wasn't there for safety. I was there to serve drinks. Not like an airline where you're there for safety. So I had a lot of fun doing that. And then we bought a cattle dog. I'd never wanted a cattle dog. My husband said, let's get a cattle dog. And I went, really? Yeah, okay. Best dog we've ever bought. We ended up with 2. One's passed away now. My oldest cattle dog was the director for many years because I started the business and couldn't have the 2 running because I was working on a contract arrangement. They didn't really want you having other businesses. So I took my dog and made him the director of the company, and so all the front facing is Spike.
Yeah.
And Georgie's his offsider, so I've got the CEO and the second in charge is my other dog, and then I get to be runner-up.
Yeah.
So, it's been a long journey, and I started it because I needed something for myself. I would be going to dog shows, showing these cattle dogs, very smart dogs, but we'd go out with a 270 awning and a rooftop tent, and I'd put the awning out thinking it was so clever to have lots of shade. But unfortunately, what happens is the sun moves around and suddenly you don't have any shade. Yeah. And I was like, it's got to be something out there. So I bought a few of the canvassy walls, which they're good in their own place. I don't knock them at all. Yeah. But what I found was it got so hot. So I started buying shade cloth, and I tried a whole heap of different fabrics to see what would cut the heat under my awning, and ended up with then going out to find some fabric and make our own. So it started off with just a whole heap of ideas. It took me nearly 2 years to develop, and finally got someone who'd make it for me. And then over the next 2 years, we finessed it and made it ripstop and a little less shiny and a bit more soft, so it's comfortable to work with. So it developed over 2 years once we got it into production. And and it was, funnily enough, when I started, I only got a sample piece made, and I was going to make one for myself. But then all my friends kept saying, "Can you make me one? Oh, can you make one for me? Oh, that's great. Can I have one?" And from there, we just started making, I ran out of fabric, didn't I? So I had to make a big decision. Do I go forward and buy 20,000 metres of fabric, because that's basically the minimum production? And I thought, oh, well, yeah, what the heck? You only live once. And haven't looked back. I've put a lot of thought into the parts of the walls. All the walls, I'm a bit of an overthinker, always been very handy. And I tend to dissect the apple. I sort of go through every little part and look at all the edging and will that work in the sun, and paranoid that something might fail. So I went out and bought the best cottons I could find that would be sun safe. We even developed our webbing edge. A lot of edges on awnings are made from different products, but not really that great. So I thought there's got to be a good product. So I looked at seatbelt webbing, and then I researched what wouldn't rot in the sun, which has meant my product lasts really well in the sun. Yeah, and you can have it out for years, and you don't have to worry about that edge getting all dull and sad looking and falling apart. So they don't rot in the sun. And then, of course, there were things like the eyelets. They had to be rust proof, and D-rings are rust proof, and even our Velcro. I did a lot of research on the parts of Velcro and came up with what we now produce, and I had it produced for me. So lots of, without going to too much technical stuff, basically it's all sun strong. It doesn't fail. Yeah. And then we used yacht grade Kedar, and again, couldn't help myself, had to have that customed as well. So how we use our product, like even connecting it to an awning, is I'm getting older and less strong and fit, and I decided, well, I need to be able to make this easy for me to put up. So I designed the track separately, and then the wall tapped on, because we looked at Velcro, we looked at zips, we looked at all the different types of fittings. And by stitching the actual edging on, that meant you had to fight to get it into the track. Whereas I've got a little strip here somewhere. Oh, sorry. Feeding that into a channel is simple. You just feed it straight into a channel, and then you've got your wall shade. You can tap your wall straight onto it. So you can be 110, you can still put it up on your own.
And that's the thing, you just slide and we'll talk soon about, it's not just a sail track. There's a lot of other different ways you can attach those things, which makes them fantastic for just about everything. How long's the company been going for now, Jen?
We started in 2017, I think. I can't recall exactly. It probably started thinking about it in 15, And yeah, we've been going quite a while now, sort of flowing by. And it's taken a while. It's sort of just progressed. We started with 5 sizes, and I thought, 5 will be plenty. But then just found so many other reasons to make more sizes. We're now up to 33 sizes.
Yeah, well, there's so much different camping gear out there now. If people are wondering how we met, Roz and I were at the Brisbane show a few years ago, and we saw your stand, and I saw your shady wall set up, and I thought, living up here, canvas walls don't cut the mustard. It's just they trap the heat in and that. And I saw those, and I got talking to you about the walls, and I was flying home the next day, and I thought, I remember saying to you, do you ever come up to Cairns or Townsville? And you said, yeah, next year and that. So I didn't get a wall off you at that time, but I did buy one off you in Cairns, I think it was.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, and then got talking to you there, and the rest history, and now I help you out on your stands and all that type of stuff. But
looking forward to that.
It is fantastic stuff, and that's why I love promoting it. I use it myself, and it is top grade stuff. So, Jan, you're a one-person business, or you got other people helping you out, just so people know?
Yeah, look, I'm basically it. So when you call up, generally you talk to me. I'm pretty much cook and bottle washer, everything. But I now have a support team. Like I have people do parts for me. It's very cottage industry, so we support people in the local area. Canvas workers. I've got some canvas workers working with me. I also have, a couple of people working from home. We have our own machines here. But, we try to keep it all in the community so that we're sharing the work around. And, it's great. And it's good because I can, have a few veterans come and work on my site, and it's, helps them out. And so we try to make it really Australian orientated and very community because, for me, it was solving a problem for me. So the business, I didn't go in to make $1 million or anything. I just went into the business to find a solution for myself, and I'm enjoying doing it. So it's progressed to what it is, and I work ridiculous hours, and some people get a shock when I ring them at 8 o'clock at night to answer a call. I email them back at some stupid hour of the night or the weekend, and I try not to do that, but it does happen. You do the job when it's got to be done.
It's hard work running your own business. What would you say some of the biggest challenges are for you running your own business here in Australia? Now, listen, you could probably go to China and get them made over there and import them for a cheaper price, but you make them here. You sew all you basically sew it all up here. You don't make the silver stuff, obviously. You buy that by the roll.
I haven't done that, but
everything else, all the borders and that are sewn on. Some of the biggest challenges, I know you obviously work long hours. We know that. Some of the other challenges that you find.
I think the hardest thing for me starting a small business was learning everything, like learning how to keep track of things, how to, manage the conversations when people are trying to contact me and getting back to people. That type of thing is very challenging for me. As far as keeping it here, I do want to keep it here because I would, they've got a lot of people here that rely on the business that we supply.
Yeah.
We do import parts, obviously, so that's another thing. I had to learn how to import parts and how to design and make sure that I could control quality. So the beauty of having it here is I can control the quality really well. Yeah. And you just can't get some of these fabrics overseas. So like all these parts, and some of the parts are Australian, and even just how it's all put together, it's not that easy to get someone to make something for you. You really dissect. I go through, I make it myself, then I'll draw up diagrams of it. I'll actually dictate where the stitching should be and how much in from an edge it should be, because there's certain reasons for it not to be too far from the edge or too close to the edge. And look, I over engineer everything. I do 3 lanes of stitching on my Velcros because I do believe it's better if it sits flat and it's neater, it's easier. You could do 2 and save a bit of money, but, you get what you pay for. If you do it properly, people get a product that's going to last, and we have a great reputation because of it. People like yourself, I've got lots of wonderful people I've met in the industry and customers who have been so supportive, and that's part of it. I mean, you meet the most amazing people in this industry and make some really good friends out of it.
Yeah. I remember in the Townsville there, you went out after the final night, and we went out to dinner in Townsville, and that you went out with some of the other, some of the other store people and that have their own, camping type stuff, and I guess you develop good relationships with them. Jan, while you've got it there, show us, for those who don't know, guys, it's basically a shade wall, a privacy wall, but you've designed it so that it's in a lot of different sizes now. It's not just for caravans. It can be used for a lot of different things. Gazebos, 270 awnings, normal pull-out awnings, caravans and all that. And you'll see all this in the slideshow soon, guys, but it can be used at home as well, Jan. You've designed it so it just hasn't got one use. There is a lot of different ways you can mount these walls. So I'll get you to just basically run us through the main way and then some of the other ways you can put these walls up.
Okay. So I do get a lot of people asking me, oh, what do you have on top? Can you put Velcro on top of it? Well, the shades come with hook on one side, loop on the other. So you immediately have the ability to attach to any Velcro edge. So that works on your 270 awnings, works on a lot of the camper trailers. It is useful in lots of areas. I didn't bring one with a strap on it, but we do also have these little straps that hang around that go over to the other side, which means any shade you buy will hang off a gazebo. Any shade you buy will hang off a 270 awning with the Velcro edge. Then you've got a Caravan. We have 3 sizes of this bead. Now the beads vary from 7.5 down to 5 mil. All you do is connect the 2 and it's done. And we've had these out in 60 knot gusts. On our Facebook page, I've taken a few videos of them in storms. They don't move around a lot because the fabric itself is it's a flat thread, so you get actually large surface area. But the beauty of large surface area is you can I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but the stitching is separate quite a way. Like you've got about 4 to 5 mil separation in the stitching, which means the thread will bow and let the air through. And that means it doesn't move greatly. It just gently lets the air through. The bonus of that is it cuts the heat. When the air hits this fabric, it's not shade cloth. It's about 1/3 of the weight of anything being produced on the market in shade cloth.
It's super light. It is super light, and weight is a big problem when you're camping out. Canvas walls. You take canvas walls, the weight of those things. These things are super light. Older people can put them up, and they're designed, if you've got to put them in a runner, you just put the little Velcro bit, if you can hold that up, Jan, the little Velcro bit, slide that in, and then you just Velcro the wall on. So that's
literally stand at one end and slide it through the channel on your awning, and that'll go in very easy. It's yacht grade Ketter, so it's not the old canvas sewn over and stitched down. It's actually welded, so this stuff doesn't break. You can bend it right back and it doesn't crack. Oops. Now it's sprung off somewhere. But yeah, it's very flexible and it rolls up nice and neatly so you can put it away. And it slides in and out very simply. And of course, you've got the different beads you can fit into on houses. I brought a little bit of aluminium up with me. So that extrusion is a great shape design for putting it on the side of your house. If you've got an awning, I did send a photo to Buck earlier, but it's got all the different profiles. You can get this one.
It'll be in the slideshow.
Sure. So this one's good for your fascia. If you're putting it underneath the house awning and you want to put a shade up, simply to slide that in. Then you've also got a double flange. So you've got another flange off this side, and that allows it for underneath awning. And this channel faces downward. And then there's a double one. So you've got lots of options with these beads, and it'll fit straight into the bead. Yeah. When you're buying a bead, 90% of them in Australia will be the 7.5 mil bead. They might have a 9 millimetre round, but the 7.5 is what you'd use in it. It's all about the mouth.
Yeah, it's yeah, the all that channel there, guys, went from Bunnings and that. The channel that you normally buy from the hardware will be a 7.5. And Jan, before I forget to say it, Mum's barbecue area, guys, in Townsville gets hit by the western sun. So I got one of the walls. I think I put some channel up, and that's been there for a couple of years now. And that just, you can sit out there in the afternoon now, and it's bloody keeps that sun out. It does an amazing job of keeping it. Anyone who's got bedrooms that cop the western sun in the afternoon, this here is well worth looking into. Put some of that channel up on your the fascia of your house, and then you can bring that down, and it'll keep that western sun off the windows of the house. It makes an absolute remarkable difference. It reflects the sun. The whole idea, it lets some airflow through, but it really reflects the sun out and just keeps everything so much cooler underneath it.
Yeah, this fabric is, because it actually isn't just shade cloth, it's actually an aluminium embedded fabric. So it's quite specific in that it doesn't draw heat. You can face this in full sun and it can be really hot, but it doesn't draw the heat. So then the heat doesn't build up on the fabric. When you pass air through it, you can actually stand behind it on a hot sunny day with air flowing through, and you can actually cool. So it's like a little bit of people call it the air conditioning. If you get a breeze and the sun's hitting that shade, normal shade cloth will heat up. So you'll find that you get this build-up of heat. Any air that comes through is going to come through hot. So therefore, you're just blowing hot air around. Whereas this, it blocks the sun for starters. Then it cuts the heat. When you pass air through, it actually dissipates and turns it to cool air. The other good thing is it is rated by Panzer. So we have had it tested to make sure it meets, it's rated as effective by Panzer. We're 1 point off being very effective, which is a pretty high rating for shade cloth.
Yeah. No, it's good stuff. I remember in Townsville you had it set up, and and it was pretty hot there, and people putting their hand behind it. You cannot feel any heat coming through at all when it's copping the direct sunlight. So
that's it. And on the house, it's great because you've got lots of it's a lot of awnings now. They're very standardized. So you can literally put a channel track up and feed this through. If you've got areas where there's a problem with being able to have a continuous channel, what you can do is you can still break the channel. Because this edge is quite stable, you can go around an obstacle and continue into a channel and then still tap onto it. So you can effectively still have a straight wall, but you can do your channel strip in two parts. So you can feed from one to the other and it'll still sit there neatly.
Mr. Bullet is Mr. Bullet. They are very forgiving in the wind, mate. They are very light. They do allow us airflow to go through. It's not like a canvas wall, which becomes like a big sail. These things are very forgiving in the wind. They really are. I've got one set up out near my garden here, and it cops some big winds and that, and it's still there. So they're very forgiving in the wind, Mr. Bullet.
We had our. There's a shot that'll come up in the slideshow. We have ours over our work area, and we also have one on our neighbour's house who's using it for a shade over his vintage car. And we all left them out in the cyclone, so they didn't move. The thing is, because the air can escape really quickly. It's not like, they say, a lot of shades will say, air comes through well. But these are amazing. They're great in wind chill too, because what they do is, because of the flat thread, the air hits it and turns sideways. So it slows it down, but it doesn't stop it. So it's not making you, it doesn't trap it and make it impossible to actually, it doesn't put a lot of stress on your awning is what I'm trying to say. It literally will go straight through, but slow it down a little bit. So you'll get the airflow, but you won't get the gusting. So that's another factor that's a bonus with it.
Mr. Bullet, so wait till the slideshow, mate. There's a thing called a shock lock that gives some allows, and we'll go through that. You need something with a little bit of give. There was another good one here. Ross Halliwell moved just as I was about to. Where's Ross? There we go. Jan doesn't sell the sail track, Ross. You get it from Bunnings and hardware shops, mate. You can buy it. I went to my local
aluminium supply.
I went to Cumic Steel here in thing because my Jayco Caravan, Gene, on the offside, and people will see photos in a minute, didn't have any sail track. So Ross, I went to my local metal shop here called Cumic Steel. Bunnings sell it as well, mate, and you buy it in lengths. And the good thing is my steel shop here, it cuts it to the exact size I want. It is as cheap as chips. It's light aluminium, and you can either pop rivet it or you can Sikaflex it. I've Sikaflexed it onto my Caravan, and I think that'll be fine. I don't think I need to pop rivet it. But Ross, Bunnings and that, mate, sell it. And when you buy it from Bunnings, it'll have the 7.5 mil bead. So if you buy a 4 metre piece, for example, and Sikaflex it onto the offside of your Caravan, and you need a 4 metre wall, you would bring up Gene and go, I need a 4 metre Shady Gear wall, and I need the 7.5 mil bead. So you'll get that little piece with you feed that in, and then the wall Velcros onto that. And the Velcro's got really strong holding power. So a lot of that stuff from Bunnings is the 7.5 mil bead. Jan, we might get in and show the people the.
Yeah. Okay.
G'day, Mark. How are you, mate? We'll get in and we'll go through the slideshow, and that way you can kind of. I'm going to get this bigger. Hopefully everyone can see. I can't see any comments now, guys, because I've made that a bit bigger. Jan, that's probably the main, when it comes to caravanning, that is the main wall that people will buy. It is the main Shady Gear wall that sail tracks in. All the awnings on caravans will have a sail track in them, whether it's the rollout, the carefree type awning like that, or whether it's the wind out Fiamma awnings. They all have some sort of sail track in there. You just need to know, everyone, what size sail track it is. It'll either be a 6 mil or maybe a 5 mil on some of the Chinese vans, 5, 6, or a 7.5 mil bead. Most of the vans now, Jan, are running a 6 mil bead, are they not?
Look, it's become a little bit mixed. So anything with a round barrel, like that one in the photograph, you'll get that'll be a 6 mil bead. You can fit a 7.5 in many of those as well. So that's a bit of a versatile. It's about how much the slot is. But the best way to test is actually just get a drill bit and slide it in. If the drill bit fits, easy done. The only catch is with Chinese awnings, because of the joins, we've actually gone down to a 5 mil bead for some of the Chinese ones, because we find if you're buying a Chinese awning, if it's got a Chinese awning, which is common these days on a lot of the hybrids, that you just go straight to the 5 mil. If it's a Fiamma, it's a European brand, they will fit 6 mil, even though in their directions they tell you 4 mil, which I don't know where they get that measurement.
I had 6 mil on my Fiamma. So that's the main. That's the main. If you've got a Caravan, guys, and you want some shade for your Caravan, that would be the first wall you buy, the one that goes into your awning, and they're all a 2 meter drop, Gene. It's the length of them differ, and Gene's got a lot of different. So they go from a 1 meter right through to a 6 meter. Okay, for your very largest caravans or buses, 2 meter drop, and then you peg them down to the ground. The good way, as Mr. Bullitt was saying, and we'll see it soon, Gene, is use the shock lock. So if the wind gets there, they've got a bit of give at the bottom. But under there, if you've got that western, or even in the morning, the eastern sun coming in, or the western sun coming in the afternoon, that provides so much more shady, cool area under your awning if the sun's going to come under there. So that's the main one that people will get. Does anyone recognise that Caravan, everyone? That's Mr. Buckaroony and Ross.
Special.
That's the old Jawa Sirocco when we did our trip down to Tasmania and South Australia. And that picture was taken in Bowen, guys, on our way down. I think that was our first stopover from Innisfail. We did a big trip down to Bowen and did a few nights in Bowen at Queen's Beach or something. So that you can see there, I've got the cheap Chinese. I ended up losing that awning, piece of shit. It broke. So, and she went in the wind, but I had a 6 mil bead, so I used to just slide it in, Velcro the wall on, and peg it down to the ground using a few shock locks, and it used to keep that that sun out in the morning and the afternoon. No, absolutely fantastic. Now, another one with caravans, everyone, is depending on what way you caravan, that western sun can be a killer, Gene. Or, you know, people go into their caravan at night to go to sleep, and the sun's been beaten in on that western side of the caravan or the off side of the caravan all day. That caravan, unless you've got air conditioning, you won't be able to sleep in there. And I can vouch for it because Roz and I used ours a lot. We grab another wall that can go into a sail track on your caravan. And if you don't have a sail track on the offside of your caravan, that's where you can Sikaflex some of the bunning stuff on there, guys, and that's your problem solved. And let me tell you, that western side wall or the offside wall is a lifesaver if the sun is beating in on your caravan. It is an absolute lifesaver. And Roz loved it, Jen, because we could open the windows up and people couldn't see in the van. So it provided really good privacy as well as shade and keeping the sun off that side of the van.
Yeah. Actually, I'm just going to jump in there for a second. Black has just put a question up about the Darche awning. I noticed Ed's also made a mention of theirs. Ed's got Ed's four-wheel driving camping. He's got a Darche awning. So we actually have a zip connector. So what it does, it zips onto the Darche, and then it's got a Velcro strip, and so it'll match it up. So you can actually cover two areas, like the forward two panels or the rear two panels with this zip section, and then you just put your wall panels onto it. So yes, you can Velcro on. I know it's different with a zip, but we do have quite a few of the zip brands available to us. We've even managed,
and there's a few other ones that you've stocked most of the common size zips. So you zip it onto the underside of the awning, and then you've just still got, and then you still Velcro the wall on as normal, rather than use a sail track. You zip it on and then Velcro your wall on. So yeah, you can do that for most popular zip awnings.
If you look up one of Ed's four-wheel driving camping, he's done a really good video showing you how it works on his page. So if you go to his YouTube channel and look up, I think it's called 270 awnings, he's got as a heading, it'll come up and he'll actually shows you how it works.
Yeah. Guys, that is a 3,000-foot caravan. I stretched that photo out. Like it's about 80 foot, but it is a big caravan. But once again, you can see there. And Mr. Buller, if you're watching, mate, those things on the bottom, Jean's got the shorter shock locks and also the longer shock locks. So you put your peg and those bungee, they're like a bungee cord or whatever. They've got, if the wind gets under, it's got a bit of give. And let me tell you, that will take there you go. There's Jean's got a shock lock there. And they're fantastic. They've got a lot of give in them. So if the wind gets, it's got some give and it's not going to tear out. So absolutely fantastic. That'd be
different lengths.
Yeah, you got the longer ones. That'd be close to 6 meters, Jean.
This one, that van there, that's over 6 meters, and it's a high off road. So that's the other one we've got. It's a long. It's got a shock lock with a carabiner, so you can clip on, and that's good for lashing as well. So if you've got something you want to lash together or tie something down, they're really versatile bit of gear. But they've got this this system of being able to lock by actual tension. It locks the thread, and because it's marine grade, it doesn't rot. So they're really brilliant.
Really good, and I've got a picture of them coming up. Aussie made too, Jean, the shock locks.
Yes. Some guys in New South Wales started the business, and we saw them at a show, and actually I said to them, look, I've got to supply these with my gear because they're just the best thing I've ever seen.
And they're a good price too.
Yeah.
You'll see a lot of stuff coming up, everyone, and I'm sure you're going to be sitting back going, and some light bulbs are going to be coming on in your head. There's a million different ways to camp, and tonight is just an idea just to show you how versatile these Shady Gear walls are. There's a little teardrop camper or teardrop camper, and they put on the back there to give them some privacy and a bit of shade coming in on there. They got their fridge in their kitchen, and it gives them a bit of privacy there and keeps the sun off their kitchen.
We actually made that particularly for the Takani because the customers were coming and saying we need some shade at the back. So that's a 1.5 on the Takani. And you can see down the side of the wall, there's actually a couple of eyelets. So you can actually hitch it out so it goes out and then down for more room as well. We actually do a 1.3, a 1.5, 1.8 and 2. Oh, and there's a 1.6 in the middle there somewhere. So we got a few different dimensions to to meet all the different types of rear door like that.
And you can see it's got the stainless eyelets in there, everyone. So that one's just coming straight down to the ground. But if you wanted to, you could bring it out to a pole with a spigot on the end into the middle one and then down to the ground, or you could put a pole. So you've got the stainless eyelets too. So you can use poles. You can you'll see an idea of that coming up a bit later, how people just extend their shade out using tent poles. Now, this is fantastic, Jen. As we know, a lot of the Chinese caravans now have this. I know a lot of the Jawa vans do. Our Sirocco didn't have this, but I know Rob Richmond's little all the Oz tracks, a lot of the Jawas, a lot of your Chinese vans have these where you pull the top, and that's basically your bedroom there. Now, the common thing that a lot of people have said with these caravans is when the sun, that is very, very thin aluminium. It folds out and clips together. Very, very thin. And when the sun hits it, and I've had a lot of people tell me this, it becomes a sauna inside there. It's almost, you've got to get out. People have said in the morning when the sun hits the top of that, you've got to get out of bed and get outside. It's too hot. It heats it up like an oven. Well, you have come up with a solution, and you've come up with a Shady Gear wall. This one is the one, it's got a 3 metre drop, not a 2 metre drop, Jan. So it can come down to a pole, and it's keeping that sun off that part of the caravan, that when the sun hits that, it bloody turns it into a sauna. And that has solved the problem. So any of you guys out there with a Chinese van with the fold-out part of the back, that is a must-have.
There's a few benefits of it too. You've actually got 2 pole sets. You've got one about 1 metre down. That picture's a little warped, so it looks a bit odd shaped, but it's actually 3 metres long with a pole slot at 1 metre and 2 metres. So you can actually decide how you want to use it. Whether you need it, if you've got a shorter dropout, you can actually take it down further to the ground and have it poled closer to the van, or you can have it out like in that bed situation. The other good thing is because it does have a large surface area, when it rains too, it does slow the rain down. It won't stop rain coming through because obviously it's going to be flat, the water will settle and drip through, but it does slow it down and make it quieter. So you don't get that, you might get just gentle driplets of rain rather than smashing if it's raining hard.
It'll break the heavy rain up, and it'll come down as smaller drops and that. But if you've got one of those caravans, everyone, I think that is a must-have. If anyone, I'll go back, and if anyone's in the comments section that's got one of these vans, I'm sure some of you have, and if anyone's got one of those, put a comment up. The Sikaflex Marky has worked. I've been gonna go out and do that film clip, Gene, to test the Shady Gear walls, because I've got the sail tracks on the front, the back, and the offside of the thing. But we haven't been able. It's just been too wet up here, mate. We haven't been able to get the caravan out of the shed to do that. G'day, Gidgy. How are you? Gidgy Gorilla's on me, brother there, Gene.
Yeah, I see that. And I also see that Greg Campbell's on there. He actually recommended a T-Rex glue from Bunnings, which I've been telling people about as well. So that's really good.
I'm pretty sure, Greggy, I used the strongest T-Rex Sikaflex available. It was T-Rex brand, and it's really strong. So, hey, listen, the good thing is, if it was a canvas wall, I would have pop riveted. These things are so light, I think the Sikaflex will be more than enough to hold it on. So and that way you're not drilling into your van. So many people, when I was helping you out at the shows, Jan, I was talking to them. They're seeing those western side, the wall on the western side or the offside of the caravan, because they said, "Oh, the sun sun hits our van in the afternoon and it turns it into an oven. And I said, put a wall down on your offside. And the first thing they say, the Jayco owners and people like that, they go, we don't have a sail track there. And I remember one bloke, I said, mate, go to Bunnings, measure it, go there. He said, I don't want to drill holes in my caravan. I said, use Sikaflex, mate. Get a 4 metre piece, whatever your van is, Sikaflex it on, and then you buy your Shady Gear wall and you keep the sun off you. And you could see him going, this bloke's just solved my problem. Like, he didn't think about getting some channel from Bunnings or the local hard or your steel place, Sikaflex it on with a really good T-Rex or whatever, the highest gripping Sikaflex, because it's not holding a lot of weight, Jan. They're very, very light. So the pop rivet, listen, if they ever come off the Sikaflex, let's go, I'll have to drill and pop rivet then. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. So speaking of Craigie Camp, Craigie helped you out at the Newcastle show recently, Jan.
He did. I was just talking to him earlier today, and absolutely, he was fabulous. I couldn't thank him enough, because we were busy, and he got it, he understood it, and we had some great customers to chat to, and it was good fun. That's half the thing.
Jan, there's a special guy in the thing I just noticed. Dale O'Brien, Jan, the campman, one of the best camping channels on the internet. Honestly, this bloke, no one camps more than him. He is permanently 100% on the road camping, remote. And I'll tell you what, if you ever wanted another YouTube channel to promote your gear, that bloke there is your man, because no one camps more than this fella. He is unbelievable, the camp man. Really good. Thanks for coming on, Dale. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. And Dale used to live in Innisfail there for a while, Jan.
Okay.
Ros knows him, and he's good mates with a good mate of ours, Perry Paul, and Dale's good mate with Perry. And so Jan, jump on and check the camp man out.
Yeah, I will. I've made a note.
Best camping channel on the internet, bar nobody. He's bloody brilliant. And thanks for tuning. I'm glad I saw your name pop up there, Dale. I'll tell you what, he's a bloke. Dale's camped up in the Pilbara, the Northern Territory, Arnhem Land. Like, he's done some real remote stuff and that, and camps in some pretty, you know what I mean? Does it rough. Like, he's got a great camp set up, but he camps rough, he camps remote. And Dale, if you ever have trouble with bloody shade, mate, and wanting to keep the sun off you, these things here are the duck's guts. They really are. I can vouch for them. Gary Neal's on, David Leeworthy. Let's go on to the next one, Jean.
Just to let the campman know, it's shadygear.com.au. But you can always contact me by an email, shadygearaustralia@gmail.com.
Yeah, and we'll put all that up at the end there, Dale.
So give me a yell, Dale, once tomorrow or so, and we'll have a chat.
I've got an absolute fantastic and a big YouTube channel. Got a really, really good following, Jean, Dale, and I couldn't think of a better bloke to promote your stuff. And I'll tell you what, he'll put it through the ringer and he'll test it out and he'll give it some real world testing, let me tell you.
That's what I like. I'm not really big on like, we've done a few ads just recently because we just have to keep things rolling, because there's a lot of guys out there stealing our photos and all sorts of weird things. But so just to keep our name out of there. But basically it's word of mouth. Our customers talk about our product, and having someone who uses it in different applications, because it is so versatile. It's designed to use in any position. Something else I didn't mention, and I should have, on the top of our shades, we've even got eyelets. We've got an eyelet at the top corners and one in the middle. So you can actually string the tarps up anywhere pretty much.
And that's it. If you can't Velcro them on, guys, they've got little straps. You can put them over a bar or a branch of a tree. They've got stainless eyelets. You can put bungee cords up. You can tie them up. You can tie them between two trees to keep the sun coming down. They can be used just about everywhere, absolutely everywhere.
The whole concept behind them was basically, because I don't want to carry 20 things, I want to be able to take things to one item and use it in multiple ways. So everything's got, all the shades have those different facilities on them. So you can hang them from a gazebo, stick them on a 270 awning, add a track, shove them in the awning of your van, put a thick track, put it on the offside of your van, take them home and use them on your shed to keep your van shaded.
Exactly right. Those little black things on that, I've stretched that a bit, guys. That's a 270 awning with a rooftop tent set up.
It's a very 270.
But the little black things there are Velcro. So like a gazebo, or if you've just got a bar, you can Velcro it over. You can either tie it up or you can Velcro it over. So there's a million different ways to put it up. Jen, that's your old car, and that's one of the old original rollout awnings that I've still got on that.
This is one of my first shots. When I first started, I had an old RAV4 and I had the car awning, and because we do a 2 metre drop, it's quite generous. But I wanted to show people how that's a 4 metre shade on I think it was a 3 metre by 2 metre awning. And so you can literally take the awning across the front, take it around the corner and use the straps that are on the top to hook it up to the side of your awning. And now you can wrap around a car awning. So for those people who've got a caravan and they've got a four-wheel drive and maybe they go away fishing for the weekend, they can shove the same wall on the car. I want it to be versatile. I want people to get value for money. And that's the idea of having it with lots of different attachments on it.
Now, I'll go back there. Everyone, have a look there. When the sun's hitting that wall from the outside, you can't see through. And that's why they're called Shady Gear and private. You also use the word privacy. That there, when you get up in the morning, and I know Roz hates it, when we used to have the drifter trailer and the 270 awning, Roz used to hate coming out of the Oz tent and people can gawk under your 270 awning and see you when you haven't done your hair and all that type of stuff. That provides privacy. You can see out, but you can't see in. And the next one, so that's looking from the outside in, guys. So it kind of reflects you can't see in. But from the inside, you can still, so if someone's coming up to you or walking up to your campsite, you can actually see them walking towards you. You know someone's coming. So you can see out, but you can't see in. And that's the other fantastic thing about them. And that's where the privacy side of things comes in. So you can walk around in your undies under there. People can't see in, in the morning when you come out of your rooftop tent. They can't see it. So it gives you a bit of an idea. The other thing I want to say there, Jean, is the walls can be taken out on an angle. This one here, the walls come down vertical. If it's raining and there's rain coming in sideways, the best way to have the walls, everyone, is to have them vertical. If you have them on an angle, you'll find that the rain still manages to splash in underneath. If you have the walls vertical like that, the rain hits and runs down the wall. You'll get a tiny bit come through, but people go, are they fully waterproof? No, they're a shade thing, guys. They do a very, very good job of keeping the rain out if you keep them vertical.
Yeah, so the thing is, what happens is the water will hit the shade and run down it because it's the flat thread, and then you've got so it'll sheet down the fabric. If you get a heavy wind, you might get a slight mist if it's blowing hard, but if it's down vertically, you get very little rain through them at all. And the thing is with them, I know you did a hose test many years ago, and
I did.
Yeah, so it was, and that was with force, so that was blowing onto them. But
I was full ball thing, and it was pretty impressive about how much water it kept out. Obviously, you're not going to get rain. That's like a full-on nozzle on the hose. But they do a very, very good job of keeping the rain out if you keep them vertical like that. Okay, if you go right up, you'll feel a bit of a mist coming through. But for what they are, they do a very, very good job. Those people that have got caravan awnings, Jean also has the end wall. So as you know, if you're in a caravan park sometimes, that might be the western. You might want to keep the western sun out from coming in the front of your awning, depending on what way you're going. If you're in a caravan park and you've got a caravan camp straight behind you, you want a bit of privacy, you can put another one up there. Now, as you know, a lot of awnings are on an angle, Jean, and that's where your walls come in. You've got a canvas infill piece, and what the canvas is designed to do, guys, is to fill in that top piece and give you a straight edge, so then your Shady Gear wall can attach to it and then come down. So that's an end wall, and it'll work either side of the awning, Jean.
And I probably should explain why we went that way, because we do get people saying, oh, why don't you make it all of shade cloth? There's a couple of reasons. One, you've got a canvas section now that blocks the water from coming in at your door area, draws the water down the fabric so it continues down the fabric. But also, like, the worst thing is when you go away camping, you've got to climb a ladder, and you'd remember this, Buck, you fall off ladders. Is you climb up a ladder, you don't want to be carrying a lot of stuff under your feet. So by having this little section, it's easy to put up, takes about a minute to put up, and you literally use those straps that are on the top edge. They'll go over the side arm of an awning. If you don't have a side arm and you've got an anti-flap kit, the channel will feed in. So They can fit in two ways. But then once you've got that up, you can literally get down onto the ground, stand on the ground and just tap the wall on, because it's not heavy, so you're not lifting something heavy above your head. You literally can just tap that wall onto the canvas, and that'll give you the solution without having to struggle. And again, it's about, a lot of us are getting older and it gets harder. I've got arthritis, and I feel that, if you make it easy, you use it. If you make it hard, you don't. Yeah. And the other bonus of being able to separate those two parts is that shade can then be used on your gazebo. It can be used on your 270 awning. So you've now got 2 shades, 3 shades in one.
Yeah, it can be used just about anywhere. And I just want to reiterate, sometimes people have just got a bar across the top there. That's where the Velcro will go around. Or if you've got the anti-flap kit up, guys, all the anti-flap kits come with a sail track in them, and it's got the sail track thing on there. So that's the end wall kit for your caravan. There's another view. You can see one caravan's got their front wall on, which gives them a lot of privacy. Doesn't that give you a lot more privacy looking there? Not only keeps the sun out,
and that one's not warped either.
No, it just gives you some really good privacy. It really does. And then the X Factor one there's, you've got the end wall kit. He might have the sun belt in the afternoon, so he's put an end kit up there. 1 for privacy, 2 maybe to keep the western sun out. Now, you've also got these canvas bits, Jen, with the Chinese caravans, and I had this problem with a Sirocco. The fridge is up the front of the caravans. The fridge is up the front of the caravans, and it isn't covered by the awning. So if it rains, you can't have your fridge out. But you've come up with these little canvas sections now that can go onto the anti-flap kit, out to a couple of poles, a couple of guy ropes. I didn't use guy ropes and that like that. I used to just bring it from a ratchet strap straight down to the ground. I didn't even use poles, but you can if you want. And that now gives your fridge some protection. And that was one of the big questions when I helped you out on your stand. People go, I've got one of those hybrid caravans, mate. How do I keep my fridge out of the weather? Well, there's your answer there.
Yeah, the other thing too with these, they're not just straight out. It actually flares slightly. So depending on the type of van, we do have some connectors for the side of the van for some versions, some brands we're working on. But the beauty is you can actually bring that canvas down and use it like a straight wall and actually bring it more vertical. So it can go fully out as a roof. So we do up to 175 extension. So it's 1.75 metres. But our most common one is 1.35, which you had on the Sirocco. And that gives you enough coverage to give you a decent shelter. And we now have a Velcro strip that runs across the spreader bar edge, and you can tap one of the walls onto it. So now it creates a room. There's a photo coming up, I think, of that. So I won't say much more, but you'll see what it looks like.
Yeah. Hey, Luke, I just saw Luke. No, mate, there's not. And the reason is, I know a lot of companies out there work with YouTubers and use Mr. Buck 10 and get a 10% discount. Jean doesn't. If Jean starts doing that, mate, it just knocks the ass out of her. You haven't got a big profit margin anyway, Jean. So, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of these bigger companies, they put such a profit margin on everything that they can probably give a YouTuber. I know a lot of YouTubers, Jean, someone will get a 10% discount for using Mr. Joe Blogs 10 or whatever, and then that YouTuber gets another 10% on top. You don't have the You don't.
We don't have that sort of margin.
You don't have profit margins to do that, mate. So the answer to that, Lukey, is no, mate. No.
No, we do. We do try to give. We try to give back with, if you're buying a few, we try to give you a few add-ons and things like that, and it shows we do discount a bit, but not massive discounts. We just try to make it fair, and we'll throw in things that shows, but also we like to give back and give back to communities. Like we do the Buckaroony Christmas thing, and if Buck's doing any promotions or charities, we try to put in money to make it, help the community more than anything.
And that's right. Brad said they're keenly priced anyway. Considering, Jan, it's a lot of the stuff on there is Australian made. They're made here in Australia and that. And we know the costs, what it's cost to produce stuff here in Australia and that. And you start throwing 10%, 20% discounts around. And next thing you know, you're thinking, I'm working for everyone else but myself. So,
and also, you'll see.
You're the first, and I'm going to thank you for this at the end. When I'm doing a charity giveaway or something, you're the first one to say, I'll throw some Shady Gear balls in. So you do give back in that way, Jen, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, look, I'd like to thank, the people who helped me. And, it's about trying to help those people who need a hand and making sure the money gets to them. And that's why I love that you, Buck, because you actually do the work and you don't, every cent goes back to the charity. So I'm always happy to put my hand in my pocket for those. And at the end of the year, giving prizes to the committee or to the members that support you. Because what goes around comes around in that respect. You sort of look after each other. The big thing about price is too, you'll see a lot of PVC out there. Now, it's very cheap to put a PVC wall together. Australian canvas is really hard to get, and it's really hard, and quality canvas is expensive. It's not the cheapest. I make no apologies, but interestingly enough, people who are copying me at the moment or trying to, they're using PVC and charging more than I am. So I get a bit of a giggle out of that because I think, oh my God, how much must you be making if you're now making this product and you're doing it overseas? It's So
that canvas stuff that Jean, it's Australian canvas, everyone too. It's not.
Yeah, and it's super fine, so it's very light. That's another factor. The difference between the PVCs and I don't think anyone's using canvas. They're using I can't think of the name of the product, but it's like a polyester stuff. It's not it's very heavy, or it's very, very fine and it falls apart. So it's about quality. It's about quality fabric, and you'll feel it. You can feel it when you touch it. It's actually nice to touch. It's washable. It's not a washing machine, but obviously you can wipe it down if it gets dirty marks on it. And it's strong. It's a nice quality fabric. So everything we put on there is all our edgings are double thickness. They're better quality, but everything's been everything has been done with a weight consciousness.
Yeah. Oh, they're super light. I love the awnings, guys. That's probably 270 by the looks of it. The awnings with the Velcro on the inside. And all you need to do is measure the panels on your, the 270 awnings they're not all the same thing, but just measure the panels. Some of them might be the same. So you can go, I've got a couple of 2.8, between poles, and you can just buy one wall. If you don't want to buy too many, you can just start off with one wall, everyone. So what happens?
And you move them around.
Velcro it on, and as the sun moves, you just Velcro the wall off, move it to the next panel. So you just move the wall as the sun moves, and they're super light, super easy. Wrap the Velcro around the poles so that they don't flap around. He can't peg the bottoms down. He's obviously on a. Oh no, he didn't want to peg through his bloody
his mat. So he's just using the straps that are on the side, but. We also now have we are patented, by the way, Jordan. But there's they still go their best, but they change things that it gets them around some things. But we don't worry about it too much. Yes, we do know. Oh yeah, wax converter folded, so that did cause us a problem.
That was the other thing. Wax converters has gone on, which is I know Drifter used to use them. Crazy Dog used to use wax converters.
Everybody.
Another great Aussie company that's gone under, dear, that a lot of people ask for that 1 metre. Now, that's a 1 metre wide, 2 metre drop. and it's got a couple of shock locks down the bottom. Gene, obviously someone's using that at their house on the right-hand side to keep the sun off their bedroom window, but a lot of people have got their fridge vent and where their fridge is in their caravan and want to keep the sun off that where the fridge is so that their fridge works more efficiently. And that's what we actually call the 1 by 2 meter, the actual fridge wall.
Yeah, we did that in response to that people wanted it, but we do find that once they've got one, they end up getting a bigger one because it does do both jobs. It covers the van and it covers the fridge. And especially like with kids, people like to put them down near the bunk areas because, one, it gives privacy from the kids' bedroom. People can't see their kids. And it also, they can open the windows a bit, let the air flow on top of the kids and keep them cool. Kids or adults, mind you. But that's the other beauty. So you can actually cool that whole wall down and take the heat out. So we have seen a move towards the bigger shades across the back of the van or the offside. But we do have the small ones for those who just want that, or they have other uses for it. They can be used as doors. People will use them in really weird and wonderful places. But that's the whole idea. It's supposed to be creative.
Yeah, exactly. This here is probably the best bit of camping gear ever invented, the old 3 meter or a 4.5 by 3. The old 3 meter gazebo. A lot of different brands out there, everyone. Just an absolute fantastic way to start a campsite is a 3 meter gazebo. So you can make a kitchen out of it. You can sleep under it. It's a place to sit under and get some shade. Well, guess what? If the sun's belting in the afternoon, there you can see Shady Gear walls used in conjunction with a 3 meter gazebo, and have a look at it. Doesn't that make a wonderful area to sit under? You know, if it's a nice hot afternoon, wrap a Shady Gear wall around, they loop over. We know gazebos don't have sail tracks and that. That's where those Velcro loops come in. And
you can actually see them up the top there.
Yeah, that's what you can do with a 3 meter gazebo, everyone, is you could buy enough wall to wrap all the way around if you want, or almost all the way around, have a door. But if you just cover off a half of that, face that towards where the sun's coming in, and you've got a fantastic place that's waterproof and sunproof. Oh, they're just incredible. There's the bags, Jean. You've got 2 sizes.
Yeah, that's our standard one. That's our smaller bag. So we do 2 sizes. Anything over 4 meters, you can get. You go to the larger size because that'll fit 2 ends and a front. If you go to the extra large, you can go 4 meters and above. With 2 ends and a front in the one bag. So it's designed to give you somewhere to store the lot, not just have to store one.
I've got the large bag, and it can fit. I've got the four walls for my caravan. It can fit all 4 in the one bag, guys. Super light, quick and easy. The walls fold flat. They're super light. One thing that when you say to people, you give them a 4 meter wall and go feel the weight of that, and they all go, oh my God, how light are they? And when you're worrying about weight when you're camping, guys, these things are super light. They're very, very good. Shock light. Hey, before I do, Jean, they aren't flame proof. You've got to keep open fire.
Oh, absolutely. They're like any fabric.
You're going to burn through it.
Yeah, any fabric. Funnily enough, one of my customers very early on, and he burnt a hole in it the size of his fist. And I think it's with his mates did it. We were talking about it, and I offered to repair it, but, you know, it would have been wouldn't look perfect. But he's still using that shade. I still keep in touch. He's still using that shade over his gear, and it's got a hole about this big in it. And he's just got it on the edge of the fabric there. It's a big hole. And I'm like, he's still using it? And I laugh every time he tells me it because I say, you're still using that shade? And he goes, yep. And he would be, I'd have to be 7 or 8 years, I think, that he's had his.
Yeah. Well, that one's been copping the Western Sun in Townsville. It's been up there for a couple of years at least, and it still looks brand new, the one at Mum's house. I got one keeping the direct Western Sun off the garden because the pot plants don't like the Western Sun. So I've got a little Shady Gear wall up there. I looked at it the other day. It was green with mold because of the rain we had. I just got the gurney out, gurneyed it off, and she's silver again. So it works a treat. These shock locks, Gene, cheap as chips, Aussie made, and are absolutely brilliant. Not just for tying down your Shady Gear walls to a tent peg, guys, to give them a little bit of give. The wind gets under, it's got a bit of give, but you can tie things together with them. They've got a million different uses, and you sell the shock locks, come in packets of 3, 4, or 5, and they're very, very cheap, and they're bloody brilliant. You've got to have a pack of 5 at least in your camping trunk, guys, because you can use them for a million different things.
The big thing about them is you can use them not only for tying down your walls, you can use them for strapping things together. At a show, you'll see that I've got everything tied up with them, from whether it be hanging something up from the gazebo or whether I'm strapping the gazebos together. They're just good for lots of uses.
Yeah.
Actually, something I wanted to mention, Buck, something about the edge of the wall. So that webbing edge, when it's on the gazebo, so let's say you've got a 5-metre wall on your van, but you've got a 3x3 gazebo. You can wrap it around the gazebo, but you don't have to have it on a pole. Once you anchor the top and the bottom, that's not moving because that webbing edge is really stable. Yeah. And the other good thing is when you anchor it, you literally anchor the corners of the shade, and then gently the ones in the middle, the D-rings in the middle, they just have to be lightly anchored. You don't have to stretch the living crap out of it because they're not going to move. Once you anchor those corners, you've got multiple layers of stitching here. It's like I think we do 3 or 4 layers in both directions, in crossways, and that's never coming off.
And that's a stainless D-ring on the ends of all the things, so you can anchor them down, tie them out to trees, guys. If you want to use it, use a big one for some shade between some trees, rope through the D-ring and string them up between some trees.
And I was going to say we were at the storm in Kawana once last year actually, and we had 60-knot gusts. We had the awning anchored to death, but we had the walls out and we only had 2 pegs in them, one on either corner, and they did not move. Yeah. And so the end wall stayed there. We even had one anchored out with a out and down, so it's showing how they can be angled. And they literally didn't move. If you want to have a look at a video of it's actually back in, I think it was August or September, on our Facebook page. I actually videoed it because we all thought our gear was going to fly away. So it was a good way to test it.
I can vouch they can take some heavy winds. You sell these things too, Jean, gazebo gutters. Anyone been and you want to butt a couple of 3.3 metre gazebos together, Christmas time or whatever, and if it rains, you've got water coming between. Well, these things just go over it's a gazebo gutter, guys, and then it's got a little canvas drain pipe on one end so that you don't get water coming down between your 2 awnings. So whether it's at Christmas time or out camping and that, absolutely another fantastic thing. You sell them too, Jen?
Yeah, we made those because, again, we go to dog shows and we often have about 3 or 4 gazebos paired up and we'll all camp in there with our dogs and our gear. And the big thing is you walk between gazebos and you get this sheet of water coming down between.
Yeah. So I've seen them in action at one of the shows I was helping at, and they work really, really good. So gazebo gutters, if you didn't know about those, there's a good picture, Gene, to show people what the bead is. So that up in the top left-hand corner, that is what they call a bead. It's like a hard, really hard, rigid silicon, and that's what goes into the channel, the sail track channel. Okay, and that bead across there will either be 7.5 mil, 6 mil, or 5 mil. On your caravans, or most of your modern caravans, 6 mil. You get the Bunnings channel and Sikaflex it on, it'll be 7.5. So you just got to know what size bead it is. And as you can see there, you just slide that little bit into your sail track, and then the walls, whatever size wall it is, Velcro's on. You can see the stainless eyelets there. So your walls come with eyelets, so you can put poles through, so you can bring it out, and you can put poles with spigots on there. And they've also got your D-rings on the corner so you can tie them out. The old camping clothesline, you sell them?
Yes, we carry those as well. They're so you can string a line up between 2 trees. or between anything. It's got it's basically on the shock box principle. It's got the strap, got one of these little locking devices at either end, and you basically wrap it around whatever the item is back through itself and then lock it, and you can tension that line around two anythings.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, they're fantastic. So you always got to dry something out. That's an idea there off a 270 awning, everyone. You bring the Shady Gear walls out on an angle to give you more room under there. Now, if it's raining, and I've already said this, if it's raining, you're better off bringing your walls in on the vertical. It keeps a lot more of the rain out. The rain will splash through on an angle. But if there's no rain around, and you want more room under your awning, so you can bring your chairs out a bit wider, there's an option. You can peg them out on an angle, or you can see the bloody the spigot hole there halfway through. You could bring that out horizontal to another pole and then down. So, and we'll see that coming up a bit more. That's not a bad setup there. That's one of your older type caravans with the gazebo that takes a bit to set up out the front, but then they've got the Shady Gear wall there to give them. And you can see there, guys, you can see out, but people on the other side can't see in. So there's another, as I said, there's a million different uses for these things. There we go. That's what a great setup that is. The old 3 metre gazebo with a gazebo hub tent on there, and then a Shady Gear wall at the other end for some privacy and that, and to keep the sun out. So that's an absolute fantastic one. There's another one there with your 3 metre gazebo and just one wall. So if you've got the bloody sun belting in the afternoon, guys, and you want to keep the sun off your kids and all that type of stuff, once again, you can move that wall. Take it down, takes 30 seconds, put it up on the other side, and wherever the sun's coming in, those walls are really quick and easy, and they Velcro around your legs. So they've got Velcro there, and they can Velcro around the legs so it doesn't blow around and everything. That one there, for any of the boaties, Gene, think outside the box. Someone's used a Shady Gear wall to provide some shade in the back of their boat so they don't get cooked when they're out fishing. Another great idea.
So, yeah, it's something to note. We now have, like I said, we've gone to 33 different sizes. I saw a note, someone asking if we custom. We try not to because it is time consuming to do one, but we have got so many sizes, and we've got like literally between, let's say, a 1.8, we have a 1.8, 2 metre, 2.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 3 metre. So in that, just between 2 metres and 3 metres, you've got all the range of sizes. And then for the bigger awnings, we've made these all around what is actually on the market. So I do a lot of testing. I go to the caravan shows, and I go and I'm friends with a lot of the caravan owners of the businesses, and I go up and actually measure up their awnings. So we do keep a chart of a lot of awnings as well. So we can help people who are not really sure. We can help you work out how to measure. But they're very simple to put up. They're easy and they'll fit on anything. So, and that's why we do so many sizes, to make it work for so many different people.
Marky Lavelle said, Mark goes out fishing a lot, and if you've got a big boat, guys, and say if you've got a permanent roof on there, but you want to keep that western sun out in the afternoon, you've had a big day on the water and the sun's beating in on you, just get a Shady Gear wall, whatever size you need for your boat, and some shock locks, and you can just set one of these things up nice and quick with some shock locks. Within a minute, you've blocked the sun out from coming in it depends on your boat and everything, but you just got to think outside the box. There's so many different ways to use these walls, and boating is another one. It's not just camping, boating's another one. There's a good one. That's a big stretchy caravan I stretched out too far. You can see they've got their on their main awning, they've got their Shady Gear wall on their front awning, but they've also obviously gone, we're going to get belted by the sun in the afternoon on the offside of the caravan, which turns it into a sweat box, makes the air conditioner. When you put that up there, the air conditioner doesn't have to work as hard to try and cool the caravan down. That there not only provides some privacy for your offside windows, where that was Roz's side of the van, I tell you now, it makes a massive difference when that sun's not belting in on the side of your caravan, everyone. I think that having another wall for that side is a must go. And as I said, if you don't have a sail track on that side of your caravan, you can Sikaflex one on, and it's a really, really cheap modification. There's a Jayco Swan or something, Jean. Well,
yeah.
Again, have a look at the privacy it's providing, because those Jayco types, the Swans and the Hawks and that, they got very big windows and people can see in. That's providing a lot of extra privacy and keeping the sun off the van. And that's the one thing about those Jaycos. They've got those big plastic windows. When the sun hits those, it'll turn it into a sweat box. And I think if you've got one of those little Jayco, Sammy Panopoulos, if you're watching, they are a must if you've got one of those types of Jaycos with that pop up, and they've got the big plastic windows. They heat up, Gene, in the sun. They really do, and they trap the sun in. I think that is a great setup there on the Jayco.
I noticed someone's mentioned about a tropical roof. That's actually another use for our 2.1 by 3 metre, because it is that extra length. You can actually run it across the top of the awning, and ultimately we can do longer lengths. But there's a time frame involved. So say if you've got you need a 2.1 by 5 metres, we can do that. We just have to change around where the Velcros go. But that's a custom, and we don't do a lot. But as long as you're prepared to wait, we do what we can to help you out. But the tropical roof,
too much custom work, Gene. By the time you do one custom job, you probably could have done 10 normal walls. And
yes.
And that's money to you. You know what I mean? Like, it's time and money. So I can understand a lot of companies are careful of doing custom jobs because it slows them right down.
Yeah, when you're only a small operator, it can be really tricky. But I try to assist where I can. But so yeah, there's not a lot of custom work that we do these days. But you'll find that we have so many sizes that often you'll find the one that'll fit. We actually have done the homework on the vans, so we know what sizes are being used, and pretty much that's how we developed our range.
Yeah, that's set up there, everyone. I'll just expand the screen. When I expand the screen, I can't see your comments. That there is a bit of a. He's got poles and ropes going everywhere, but what he's done is he's got the Shady Gear walls, and he's brought them out horizontal to tent poles and then guy roped him down. Obviously no rain around, but he just wanted more shady area. So what he's done is he's brought him out and he's put the tent poles with a spigot through the stainless eyelets and then guy roped it out. Bit of work involved in setting that up, but hey, each to their own. It's not something I would probably do. I'm a bit lazy. I'd like to bring it out, maybe put a tent pole halfway to the eyelet halfway and then down to the ground so there's less poles, but each to their own. That obviously worked for him. There you go. There's a Shady Gear wall looking out of the Caravan. So
that's on the Swan.
That's that Swan, is it? So you can still see out. You can still see out, see if there's people out there, people driving past. But as you can see from that other photo, people can't see back in. Well, let's go back and show you the difference there. There you go. You can't see in, and that's that same Caravan looking out. So you've got some sort of, if you hear a noise, you can get out and go, oh, someone's walking past or whatever. So, but it gives you that privacy. Once again, have a look at this. This is your next door neighbour, Jan. That's the Western belting in on their big Queenslander, and look what they've used to keep the western sun out.
So that's full west, and these people couldn't use their deck, the most amazing deck. And so what we did was put some shades. We picked the sizes that would fit, and we put the shades. In actual fact, the paint was peeling off the back of that house so badly that they were getting sick of painting it. So they actually now put the shades on the outside of the veranda so they don't have to paint their deck rail so often. But they now use it. It keeps the birds off. It also keeps a lot of the rain out, and it gives them, it cools, it actually takes the heat down in the house. So their air conditioning is running more efficiently.
If they did, Jean, if they did want to take that down, it's just a matter of pulling the Velcro down and taking
I just leave Yeah, they leave the track in there permanently and they just tap the walls and when they want them up. They generally leave them in all the time because they find it gives them really good privacy because they'll also look back onto another house. So it gives them really good privacy, but they can still see everything out. So, they've used that for a lot of years.
I'm sure a lot of you are getting some good ideas of how you could use these, not just for camping. You know, you take your wall camping and when you come back, you can use it on your house, everyone. There's someone with their shed looking out at their pool, obviously just to give, stop the sun and that belting in under their shed, their barbecue area, gives them some privacy. And also if the rain is coming in sideways, they've got the walls pretty well on the vertical there, which will cut a lot of the rain out. So that looks really good too. Someone using it on their shed. What would that must be the maximum 6 metre.
That is the 6 metre. Yeah, that side one's a 6 metre.
Yeah, so they're all a 2 metre drop, everyone, except for that 3 metre one for the Chinese caravans. All Jan's walls are a 2 metre drop, and it's the length that goes from a metre all the way out to 6 metres, and there's a million sizes in between. And as I said, if you want a custom job, there's a fair chance that Jan will have a size wall that you won't need to get a custom job done. You'll be able to make a certain size wall fit. So that's not a bad looking bloody shed, that is it?
It's great.
That one there, that's Mr. Buckarooni's and Roz's van, Sana Sirocco. And that was down the Boyne River or something. That was down near south of Rockhampton. That was a really good campsite. I can't remember the name of it now. But as you can see there, everyone, I've got the wind out awning, which comes out. I've got the wall at the front, and I was obviously copping some western sun. So all I did is on that side of the caravan, I used to leave the Velcro in there, Jan. It just stayed in there all the time. And when I wanted to go, I just popped the roof down and then just tore the Velcro off. I kept the strip piece in there permanently because it was so tight to get in. I just left it there and then it on.
It just depends on your awning. So if you have got an awning which it's loose in, you would just have to make sure you put either you can drill a little hole and put a little what do they call them, a link pin through the end. So if you could drill 2 holes through the bead channel and just put a split pin thread pin so that it doesn't slide out, because otherwise you could find it sliding out as you're travelling.
Mine was that tight in there. It was going nowhere.
Yeah,
the larger size shock locks for that western side. The short ones are a bit short there. That's where you get the longer shock locks, guys. A couple of tent pegs, carabiner it on, and as I said, keeps the sun off that western side of your caravan, and provided Roz could open the windows up on that side of the van, and we had some privacy as well.
I think that was a 4 metre, wasn't it?
I'd lost that photo. I'm going to keep that now. I'm glad you sent that one to me. It's
good photo. I like it.
That one.
I think you're using the 4 metre on the offside there. It was pretty big, I remember. And see how you've only anchored it in 2 places. That's enough. Yeah. You don't have to over anchor it because the edges are very stable. Yeah.
You've got there's a couple of other eyelets along there. I could put another 2 gyros, so I didn't need to. Yeah. Yeah,
there's 2 more D-rings. So you can see that one, he's got a D-ring, 3 D-rings on that. That's stretched out. I think that's a 3.
I've stretched this photo out a bit too much, guys. It looks a bit distorted, but it gives you the idea. This is a friend of yours that has used some little poles to come out off his van. So use it for storage. So this is the offside of his caravan as well. He's obviously got the little one over there at the back, I've just noticed, probably for his fridge, to keep it off the fridge side of his van. And this here, well, keeps the sun off that side of the van and provides him with a place to, bit of storage and that under there as well.
He's even mounted one off the front of the van over the tow bar. So he's actually got one coming out over the tow bar, which he's done a similar thing with the poles. And so it sits out and he can get to his gas bottles and keeps all that gear on the front from getting, a lot of the plastics and things break down in the heat.
That's right.
So it protects a lot of that, stops a lot of wear and tear.
Now this is your house here. Your next door neighbour has got one. Looks like a big 6 metre or whatever, 6x2, and he's just struck it up off his house to keep the sun off his car.
Yeah, he's got a vintage car. It's a Land Cruiser, but it's a really old one, so he's doing it up. And he said the plastics were getting very brittle because of the heat in the car, so he put that over the top, and now he's not getting that heat transference. And we left both of those out in the cyclone. When the cyclone ripped through here, they did not move. They sat there.
No, that's good. There you go, guys. So there's another idea of how to use them. If you just want to string some shade up from your house across to the fence to put your car under there to keep it out of the sun, yeah, it does the job, doesn't it? There's another great thing. I've stretched that one out too. That's one of those.
That's a super peg.
Oh, that's a super peg awning, is it? Yeah, righto. That's a. Is that a Jayco?
I think it is a Jayco. Yeah, it's one of the
that end piece there. Yeah. There we go. There's a Conqueror, one of the best and toughest looking bloody camper trailers on the market. A Conqueror used to be made in South Africa, guys. I think they get them done in China now, but looks like the Conqueror guys have, off their 270 awning, have just got a simple one on an angle, and it just provides a bit of shade for them off the fridge and that. So any awning any gazebo, you can use these Shady Gear walls. It's got a million use. There's another great idea of what's that? Not an Austrac. What's that van?
It's a Jayco. It's a Jawa.
It's
a Jawa Stealth. Yeah.
The fridge comes out the front there on that big thing at the front there, guys. And as you can see, the fridge is outside the awning, and everyone was kind of, how do I keep my fridge dry? How do I keep my fridge dry? Put the anti-flap kit up, which were a pain in the ass on I hated that anti-flap kit on my Jawa. Put the anti-flap kit up. It's got a sail track, guys. Sail track the 1.35 piece of canvas in there. And then what you can do, Jan, is have the canvas, and then you can have a Shady Gear wall over the top of that and then down to the ground. So there's a lot of different things you can do, but that 1.35 piece of canvas was a godsend to keep the rain off the fridge when it comes out on those hybrid caravans. And someone's used another one at the back because you've got the kitchen at the back of those vans, the slide-out kitchen. I think Rob Richmond's kitchen is at the back from memory, and that just gives you, if the rain's coming in, just gives your kitchen some protection. So you've got those there, those canvas 1.2 or 1.1 and
1.3. We do a 1.35 and a 1.75. Okay. So you've got two lengths that you can use, and they slide in again to the anti-flap kit. And along the spreader bar edge, which is the far edge, you've actually got a Velcro strip to attach a wall if you want to put a wall out and make a room. Yeah. And they come with a few variations. So we do one with no strips on the side. We do one with a strip on one side and another one with a strip on both sides. So the reason for that is some of them you just want a roof. Other times you might want to try and connect it to the side of the van, and that's not possible in every case, but we are working on doing infills for a number of the Jawa models. And we are doing something from Signatures. We're looking at MDC at the moment to see what we can do there. And Mars Campers at the back, they've got their big kitchen. You can actually attach it to the wall. It'll link up to a wall channel. And because our shades are not straight, they're actually angled out, you get actually a bit of side coverage as well. So they're a bit bigger at the end as against at the actual van.
Yeah, okay. There's an infill there on the Jawa Stealth, which is those Chinese caravans, guys, got a sail track that follows down. So you've got an infill piece there, so absolutely no water can come in, because that's where the fridge comes out, that big black door there. Fridge comes out there. That thing there that Jean's got can keep the front of your van waterproof for your fridge. So the last thing, you can keep your fridge out. There's another one there. Gives you an idea of how you can see out of the wall. And
so that's got the extension in the middle. So you've got your weather extension roof, and then you've got your wall attached to the end of that. So
Yeah, I was wondering what that was. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's actually the canvas extension going out from the van off the side of the awning, and then the angle section off that. So you've got two parts there. You've got your roof and you've got your end wall.
Okay, and gives them a lot of room under that awning. It just really extends that awning out by another 1.35, or you can do a 1.75 maybe.
Yeah, on the bigger vans, like some people tend to go to the 175 because they can set it up like that, but they can also pivot it down and make it like a straight wall, so they can do lots of variations on it if they don't want to go. They don't want to use it with the canvas side piece, but there's lots of, again, everything's interchangeable, so you can use them in different places in different ways.
That's so there's another view there. Yep.
Yeah, that's on swag, and so that gives you a good extension. I don't know that I've got the photo there, but in this group, but you can actually hitch that wall again, so you can actually get your 175 plus another metre, so you can actually effectively get 275 off the end of your awning and still have shelter.
That just gives him a lot more room at the front there, doesn't it? How's that for a photo? That is a great photo. Who took that, Jean? That is a
yeah, one of our customers sent me that, and I just thought that's really good. There's a couple I've got like that, and that shows exactly how good they are. You can see through them. You don't need a picture on your wall because you can see the scenery and you can actually enjoy it. So
that's a cracking photo.
It's a beauty. It means you don't miss out. Here's another one. Again, and that's
you can't see in, but you can still see out and take in the scenery, everyone. That is another cracking photo. Whoever took that, obviously the lady with her legs out there, that is an absolute beauty.
Yeah, it's really a nice shot.
Who's getting camping? Who's getting the camping bug, guys, and wants to get out camping after seeing all these photos? I know I do. We'll be getting out soon. Don't you worry about that. That's you sliding in as I said, into the sail track of the drum there of the front awning. You just slide it in and then you Velcro your wall on, guys. It's so quick and easy. Not trying to hold a big canvas wall up and battling with the weight. Just slide that in and then on goes your wall, Velcro.
The other thing, you've got all your ropes and things that get in the way to hinder putting a wall through. So by having a strip like that, this is an older person, as you can tell, and they've literally just stood at one end and fed that through. And once they've fed it through, they go along with the wall and they can tap it up. They just get the wall in sections and just tap it through. And once it's on, they just run their hand across to lock it down and it's done.
Yeah,
and it means
very easy.
For all the women, we can be having our gin and tonic and watching Dad put up the wall.
Now, how good's that? I don't know who owns that bus, but have a look at that for an awning. I'll tell you what, those Chinese awnings, those wind-out ones, the legs on them should be booked for vagrants or whatever that word, vagrancy. They're no means of support, but have a look at the legs on that awning.
That's a barrel awning, so that'll be probably an Aussie Traveller or something like that.
That'll be a big 6 metre. I remember, rest his soul, Fisherman Fecky left his little Chinese awning out, and it had a storm and the weight of the rain and everything, and those pissy little legs on his awning on his Fiamma, not Fiamma, his fantasy Chinese Caravan, they just folded like matchsticks. And I think Rob Richmond lost his too, his Chinese awning. The legs were pathetic. They were too skinny. Even on the Fiammas, they're too bloody skinny. There you go. That goes to show you can just loop a rope through the eyelets, guys. That's through there, but you can do that through the wall. Hook a rope through up to some trees or some poles or whatever you got, tree branches, and you can string it up anywhere. There's an RV, guys, with the slide out part there. He's obviously got the thing, so keeping the sun off that western side of his RV there. And there's your channels, guys. You go into Bunnings or your local steel place and ask for, what's it called? Sail track channel.
Yeah, rope track, sail track. And they're your different profiles. You've got for ones that you might want to put underneath the awning. The one on the right, you put underneath an awning if you want to pop it up that way. Or if you've got a fascia, you want to put it along, you can, on the van, you'd use the one on the left. And again,
I've used the one on the left, and I've used that on the front, back, and the offside of the Caravan. I just Sikaflexed it on, guys, and then I just put the thing in and then Velcro the wall on.
Yep.
I'll have a clip coming out in the next couple of months of that, because I've got the full Shady Gear setup for the Jayco Caravan. I've got the end wall, the front. I've got a 3 metre too, I think, Gene, you sent me, and also the wall for the offside. So I think that is the end of the slideshow, everyone.
There you go. I think we've talked our heads off, haven't we?
At the stage, we're a quick bloody 30-second video, guys, and we'll finish up. So here we go.
A rooftop camper with a pull-out awning. We've used one of our 4 metre cool shades to create a living space, which gives you privacy while keeping you cool. Let's have a look inside.
So you can't see in?
It provides a nice living area, and you have a great view still from the inside.
Nice simple setup.
Now, that was actually...
What's your name, Gene?
Sorry?
What's your husband's name?
Peter. So that's him actually sitting under the awning. That's our setup, actually. We're out camping, and we had a rooftop tent, and we had the 3 metre awning on the top of the back of the ute. And the problem was you get out of the rooftop tent and everyone could see you. Obviously, that space wasn't the problem, but it was a good opportunity to show how it worked. But the thing is, we put a 4 metre awning on a 4 metre wall on a 3 metre awning. So that means you could slide the awning track in, tap the wall on, and then just use the eyelet on the end of the wall to tap it to the front of the 270, to the rooftop. So you could actually climb down behind it and have the privacy.
Yeah, I know it was a big thing for Ros with the 270 is just being able to come out of the tent in the morning and not have everyone gawking at you. So, ladies, if you're struggling for a bit of privacy out there, these walls here could be your answer. G'day, Trav. Trav over in West Aussie. Big Trav. Ran into him at the Perth 4 Drive show last year. Hope you're well, mate. And they're allowed to have fires over in West Aussie now. So that's the worst thing about living in West Aussie. They have fire bans for a fair part of summer and that, which we don't. It rains all the time up here, so we don't have fire bans. So, but they certainly do over in West Aussie. Yeah. So, guys, that slideshow was just to give you an idea of just how many uses these walls can have. Gene, they're just, I don't know. You've come up with a great product, and that's why I keep talking them up. I've used them myself. It is bloody top quality stuff. It's good quality, and once you've got it, and you can use it in so many different. Don't think you just buy a wall and it's only got one use, guys. You could have a dozen uses for it. You can use it at home. You can use it to bloody put some shade up. You can use it anywhere. So before you go in and buy the walls, have a think about what size you need. Have a look on the website, and then have a think about where else it could be used, because they're designed so you can Velcro them over a pole. You can tie them up by the eyelets. You can put tent poles through the eyelets and everything to create extra shade. They're just an incredible thing. You've done well, Gene, to come up with that item. Now, you were saying that there are some copycat things starting to appear.
Yeah, I think
trying to rip your eye, and that's always going to happen, mate.
It's inevitable. I think the big thing is we have a community of people who actually have got my product and they can see the difference. The biggest thing is to actually see what they're made of. So when you're looking at photographs on the web, actually see whether they're an aluminium mesh or whether they're just a shade cloth, because they're not, and also how they're finishing them, whether they're using PVC or proper canvas, because there's some of the things that they don't point out, and they're very careful about not. They look very similar in a photograph, but when you actually get up, touch them, you're not getting it. And the weight is a big factor. So there's a few out doing some odd things. But like Greg's just said, we're going to be down in Sydney for the Rose Hill show, and that's coming up in May. And then we'll go to Townsville and Mackay. So we'll be up with Buck having a bit of a giggle. We'll get up to Mischief up there. And I do want to get to Perth. It's just a matter of time. It's just how we manage the logistics of it. But again, I'd like to also get down to Melbourne. So we will plan to get down to some of these places, and I'm looking at maybe I'm applied for the Gympie muster. Whether we get in, I don't know. But we'll be there possibly. So just trying to get out and show people the products. You can touch and feel and ask questions. And always happy to answer questions. The best idea is to leave a message on our Facebook or send me an email. But please, I do apologise if I don't see your email straight away, because as soon as I see them, I answer them. But sometimes they go into the black hole of the internet. But as soon as I find them, I definitely pass it on. But there's a phone number on our Facebook page. So if you go in and to the messages, if you're really not hearing back from me, go there and ring me. I'll answer the phone.
Hey, is Greggy helping you out at the Rose Hill show?
Yes, Greg's coming to Rose Hill. So very, very proud of Greg. He's been exceptionally good on the stand. Because he understands everything about the product and he understands how he uses them, and just and it's good fun. We have a good laugh. I mean, we're not there to work hard. We're there to have a bit of fun and have a giggle. And so
the good thing is people now know that you came up with this product, which is fantastic, but you're a camper yourself. You've done a lot of camping with your husband. So you've been out, you've used it, you know what the challenges people face about privacy and all that. Goldie and Robbo, g'day guys. Where and when in Townsville? Because I'm going to be at the Townsville show. It's in May sometime. You got a date there, I'll be helping out again. Make sure you come along and say g'day if you're up in Townsville. If you're at the Rose Hill one, go and say g'day to Jen and Greggy Campbell, everyone.
I'll give you the dates for them. I'll just look them up for you. I think it's the...
Russ, you idiot.
Okay, so the show dates are... We're going to be in Sydney at the end of April, so the 29th of April to the 4th of May. That's a marathon. Then we go up to Townsville. We'll be there from the 16th to the 18th of May. These are on our website too, under the events page. In Mackay, we'll be there from the 23rd to the 25th. Then we come back to the Brisbane show. We'll be there for the big show in June from the 4th to the 8th. And then we go up to Nambour. We hopefully get the Gympie muster. But they'll come up on our Facebook page, but they'll also be on our website under events. So I'm slowly getting the calendar sorted out there.
How do I find you on Facebook, Jen? Just Shady Gear Australia on Facebook?
Shady Gear Australia, yep.
Yeah, Shady Gear Australia. And as I said, if you can get to go onto the website, guys, and next time you're at one of the four-wheel drive shows, go and see if Jean's at the show. If you go to the Rose Hill one, go and say g'day to Jean and Greggy Campbell and say g'day. And if you're up in North Queensland, make sure you come to the Townsville one, because I'll be down there killing 2B. I'll go down and say g'day to Mum and whatever and help Jean out. And Jean's always after people setting up and pulling down gazebos. Jean, it's a big job. So if you ever go over to Perth, mate, yell out, because we got some sand gropers in here that'd be more than, Big Trav and that'd be more than happy. Maybe Pete from WA Camping, they'd be happy to come out and give you a hand to set up and pull down. There's always people in the Buckaroony community if you ever need a hand. And
really appreciate it.
That's how Greggy Campbell come around. Greg helped you out. You said he was a bloody wonderful help, and now he's helping you out at the Rose Hill show. So that's how it all works. We all help each other out here.
Yeah, it's great, and it's good to have someone who's fun. We have a lot of fun with the people on the stand, so we have a bit of a laugh, and you get to meet a lot of other exhibitors too, and if you're looking for stuff, they help you out with it, so it's a good opportunity. So I really do appreciate those who volunteer to help me out. So
it is good fun at those shows, isn't it? I love talking, as you know. I don't mind. I'm not bad on the Jibber. So I just love talking to people. And is there anything better to talk to people about when they come up and ask about the product? Talk about camping with them. And the first thing you say, g'day, how you going? What kind of camp setup have you got? And they go, we got a camper trailer and it's got a rooftop tent. There's a million different ways people camp. And I love talking to them about it. And a lot of the time, those Shady Gear walls, it doesn't matter how you camp, they can help, whether it's bloody out of your car with one of the roll-out awnings, or whether you're in one of those big buses or a zone RV caravan to a 3-metre gazebo. You've got a Shady Gear wall there that can make your camp setup even that much better. Lukey Reed, if you ever go down to Tassie, Lukey Reed would be able to give you a hand, Gene.
I'm an old Tassie girl too, so I'd love to get down to Tassie.
Whereabouts in Tassie did you live? Lukey's in
Down,
Launceston.
I was in Hobart.
Oh, okay. A southerner, a Cascade drinker. Lukey's a Bogues drinker. He doesn't like filthy Cascade drinkers, he reckons.
Yeah, there's a bit of rivalry between Launceston and Hobart.
Big Trav over in West Aussie saying, Jan, if you're ever over there, yell out Big Trav.
Oh, thanks.
To give you a hand to set up and pull down. And that Big Trav's got his own YouTube channel over there as well. So, no, it's good. There's always people around to help out. Burko, if you ever come to Coughs and need a hand, sing out. So there's people everywhere, Jan, willing to.
We nearly did Coughs last year, but it washed it out. It was just so wet that year. Yeah. I don't know what's going to be this
year. Get on Jean's website and just have a look where she's going to be. And if she's coming to your town, just send her an email and say, hey, Jean, do you need a hand to help set up and pull down? It's a big job pulling down at the end of the show. They put a bit of pressure on you too, Jean, don't they, to pull down and all that and be on time. It's like everything runs like work. And as soon as 5 o'clock comes Sunday Arvo or 4 o'clock, it's like a construction thing. So Jean always needs an extra set of hands, guys. So it'd be absolutely. There you go. Blackers is offering a hand if you ever come down to Geelong. There's people all around Australia willing to help.
That's great. And I had some lovely help too in Redcliffe as well. So I thank the guys all come and help me. It's been brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, I forget who helped you at Redcliffe. I can't remember who that was now. So Minnie Mouse and Caravan. Yeah. Minnie, Jenny, and that name changes every time you come on YouTube. Jan should come to the camping with mates down in Newcastle. That's something you should do with your husband one day. Come to one of these with mates or Legends camps down in Victoria, Jean. It'd be.
I was actually talking about that today. We're just trying to find out, look at the calendar and see. I think the next camping with mates, we're going to be at Cleveland doing a show. So that's one we do each year. But I think the one towards the end of the year might be an option down in Melbourne, I think it is. So
Cleveland, you're probably in Brisbane, but Rob Richmond lives out that way. So, there's people around everywhere to help. Pete McMurtry, make sure you come and say good day at the Townsville show. Goldie and Robbo will be there. Russ Longson, you make sure you get your ass there too, mate. I'll shout you a pie or 3. Russ saying good day to Jack. Anyway, Jan, anything else you want to say? All I want to, before I send off and all that, if we've forgotten to say anything, is there anything else you want to say about the business? But hit people up with your email address again, please, and or website.
Our email address is shadygearaustralia@gmail.com. It's that easy. The website is shadygear.com. And if you're looking for us on the Facebook, look up Shady Gear Australia. And if you send us a message through there is a phone number if you need to get hold of us that way. We have kept our number off the website because I get too much spam. This spam is just becoming ridiculous. It almost interferes with running a business. But, always happy to help. If you're not sure, always happy to help you and do whatever I can to get the right gear for you. And if you are ordering online, you're not absolutely certain, you can put a note. I do have some questions I ask about what you have. And if I see something really obvious, I'll ring you up and say, hey, this is what you've ordered. Is that right? This is what I'm thinking. Is that correct? So we just confirm that you actually have the right gear. If filling in those questions, there's a reason. So I can make sure you get the right gear and we don't have to muck around changing over. And if you have any trouble measuring your awning, the easiest way to measure your roof or your awning for the length of the long side of your awning is to measure the fabric of the roof. It's if you measure that, that'll get you pretty close to right. Because one end of the track is closed, and if they tell you it's a 16-foot awning, you can fit a 15-foot wall on it because you have about 6 inches either end on those awnings of mechanics, so you can't actually put a wall at that space. So just measure the roof.
Or just measure the sail track, guys, but make sure, look at the sail track thing and know if it's a 7.5. You'll know the 7.5 mil. It's like those big aluminium ones.
Pretty obvious, yeah.
but normally the 6 mil. So just know your bead size and the length, and you'll be able to get
Fiamma and Thule. That's also pronounced Thule. If you're not, I always called it Thule, and I found out it was Thule. So that's a 6 mil bead always. All the Chinese will be 5. Any Aussie travellers, you can do 7.5. All the domestics we use 6. So yeah, there's if you're not sure, ring me up.
All your Aussie. That's it. Ring Jean up or send her an email and go, Jean, this is what I've got. Jean knows a lot of the sizes off the top of her head because she deals with it all the time, guys. So, hey, Jean, thanks for coming on tonight, and thanks for being part of the community, mate. I know you're quite often in the live feeds. Every time I say I'm doing something for charity or a Christmas giveaway and that, you're the first one to ring me up and offer a couple of walls up as prizes and all that. I really appreciate that. And the least I can do is we'll be going to do this for a while. Bring you on. Everyone knows who you are now. Everyone knows what you look like. They always talk about Jean from Shady Gear. Well, I've seen you now, and it was good to have you on. Guys, if you're in the market, if you've seen something tonight that you think, shit, I've just seen something and I know what I can do, get on and support Jean. It's an Aussie business. She bloody hand sews it all up here. All the Velcro and everything's all hand sewn by herself, guys. It's a little one-man show, but you've got other people that help as well.
Yeah. I can't say it's completely one man anymore.
No,
but
one
woman. It's one woman and lots of friends.
But you work hard, and let's hope the market doesn't get flooded with all this knockoffs and all this type of stuff. But I'll tell you what, they'll be doing well if they go anywhere near the quality of your stuff. It is good, and I vouch for that, guys. I use it myself. If it was,
you'll know the difference
when it's good stuff.
You'll know the difference when if you don't get the right gear, you'll notice the difference. And it's not just trying to blow trumpets, because honestly, I made it for myself. And so, yeah, they always ask the question. If you're not sure, touch base with Buck or anyone in the community. They'll be able to help you. We've got a lot of customers in this community, and they're great value. I love our customers. They're always good fun, and we have a great community. So thanks, everybody, and thanks for listening to us ramble. And thanks for having me, Buck. I really appreciate it.
We had over 138 or something on at one stage, which is fantastic. So Maria's there. Maria won one of the walls on the Christmas giveaway.
Cool.
I'll be in contact to organise our shade. Maria, I think you were one of the winners on the Christmas giveaway. You haven't done that. So hope you're well, Maria, down there in Emerald. They were up in Cooktown, and Maria and the family are down in Emerald now, which
we'll use it in Emerald. It gets hot down there.
Yeah, it does. Anyway, guys, if you're at a campsite, you're camping sometimes, and you see people that's obvious they need a Shady Gear wall, just mention it to them, and it's all word of mouth. And a lot of people may not know about Shady Gear, so let's get in word of mouth. Let's support Jean. Let's support a great little Aussie business.
Thank you. You're very kind.
Yeah, that's the least we can do, Jean. Thanks for being on tonight. Thank you, everyone, for being on tonight. Really appreciate it. Wednesday night, it's nearly 9 o'clock. I know a lot of you's got to get up and go to work. I've got another drive in the morning with the students, so I better have a cup of tea.
You do a great job with the students. It's good.
No, it's going well. We had 2 passes yesterday. We got another 2 passes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Really enjoying it. All right, guys, look after yourselves. Be good. Thanks again, Jean. It was great to have you on. You're welcome on any time. And next time you see Jean in the chat room on one of the live feeds, get in and say g'day. You've seen Jean now. You know what she's all about. So if we can, we'll try and support you as much as we can, Jean. That's the least we can do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Buck. Cheers.
See you later, everyone. Good night, and might catch you Sunday morning if I have a Jibber Sunday morning, eh? See you later. See you, Loki Reed, you diddly dong.